Greetings. My name is Reverend Professor John Azumah. I'm the Executive Director of the Sanneh Institute based in Accra. At long last, Asantehene has presented the long-awaited report on his Bawku chieftaincy mediation efforts. I have to confess that at the beginning of the whole process, some of us were skeptical as to whether this is going to work. First of all, the mandate given to Asantehene was vague, that he should mediate. And that whole word mediation connotes different meanings to different people. The second issue that some of us had was the fact that this whole mediation was requested by one of the factions. The Mamprusis demanded that the matter should be handed over to Asantehene and shouldn't be handled by politicians. So some of us were skeptical. Having said that, Asantehene has now presented his report, and one of the things that we've heard people talk about is that what is new? What new thing has Asantehene said that was not already known? I want to say that in the case of the Bawku chieftaincy matter, the issues were very clear. The issue of Bawku's kin is not complicated. There was no lack of information on the issues. The information was out there in plain sight. What was lacking was lack of political will by the politicians and lack of spine from the politicians to state the truth and enforce the law. That is what was lacking. The main issue at stake in the Bawku case was that one faction has over the years refused to accept any outcome that is not in their favor. It's our way or the highway. That has been the challenge. So what new thing did Asantehene do? For me, the new thing Asantehene did in this matter is not in the substance of the outcome, but the fact that Asantehene was clear, he was courageous, he said openly and publicly what many people knew and whispered in private but dared not say in public, which is the hard truth, that the matter had been settled, that the law has spoken on this issue not once, twice, on the Supreme Court and the Appeals Court have spoken on this matter. Asantehene did not have to say anything new. All that he did was to restate what has already been established. What Asantehene also did was to really subject the narratives of both sides to scrutiny. He interrogated it against the backdrop of the prevailing information and records that are out there. That is what Asantehene did. And for me, the leadership and clarity Asantehene brought to this issue, coming from that office of the Otumfuo, adding to this matter, should really bring finality to this case. The other thing is that, for me, what the government did by asking Asantehene to mediate on this case was like passing the ball back. It was a back pass, in my view. The politicians were not having the courage to do what they wanted Asantehene to do, and they passed the ball back to him. He stepped up to the plate and he delivered. And what Asantehene did in the end was to pass the ball back to the court of the politicians, simply telling them the law has spoken on this matter and it should be enforced. That is the new thing that Asantehene did. For me, There is no winners and there is no loser. There are no winners and losers in this case because both Kusaugs and Mamprusis have lost loved ones. We've lost dear ones. We've lost precious lives. All of this needlessly. We've lost property. Bawku is now a shell of its former glory. We have all lost. The only winner in this case is when peace returns. We will all be winners, both Kusaugs and Mamprusis. And the stability in Bawku and development comes. Children can go to school. Women and men can go about their business without fear, without gunshots. We will all be the winners. And so, my appeal to my Kusaug and Mamprusi friends, cousins, brothers, sisters, aunties, my appeal is that let's reach out to each other. Let us reach out to each other. Let us bring about peace. The only winner in this case, as far as I'm concerned, is the Constitution, the rule of law, the chieftaincy institution, and Mother Ghana. Let us embrace peace and let us live together as we used to. In conclusion, I want to say a huge thank you again to Asantehene, Otumfuo, Osei Tutu II, for the leadership that you've shown, for the courage that you've shown, for speaking publicly and clearly on what many knew but dared not say. May you live long. May God bless you. And may God bless our homeland, Ghana. Thank you very much.